Good morning, students. Welcome back in your SS class. Student, we have started the chapter of history, that is the rise of the nationalism in Europe. And from today's lecture, we will start the unification of Germany, means the making of the Germany and Italy. We have discussed the economical and the social status of the Europe, and now we will discuss here how the country Germany and Italy it was formed. So first of all, we will discuss about the unification of Germany. So the nationalism that had risen before 1848 soon moved away from its association with democracy and revolution. मीन्स 1848 के अंदर जो रेवोल्यूशन क्रिएट हुआ था, सॉरी जो नेशनलिज्म की का कांसेप्ट हमारे सामने आया था, धीरे धीरे वो क्या हुआ, धीरे धीरे वो डेमोक्रेसी और रेवोल्यूशन से दूर चला गया. The conservative they started using the nationalist sentiment for their own purposes. Means first of all the liberal people, and you can say the democratic people, and you can say the person who revolt another places, those who wanted to nation state, they use cultural ideas. They use cultural ideas to emerge the nationalist sentiments. Same thing the conservative people used. They also use the cultural things to promote their political domination and to promote their own power. They also use the same thing to create the sentiments for them. So in this way, the conservative people, they starting using the same method, same phenomena to promote state power, and you can say to achieve political domination over the Europe. They also use the same method. Means 1848 से पहले रोमांटिसिज्म आया, मीन्स कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज के माध्यम से, पोएम के माध्यम से, आप कह सकते हो किसी ऐसे या किसी फोल्क डांस या फोल्क टेल के माध्यम से जितने भी लिबरल पीपल थे या जितने भी नेशनलिस्ट थे, दे स्टार्टेड टू एमर्ज द सेंटिमेंट्स फॉर द नेशन स्टेट. दे यूज दैट मेथड. इन द सेम मैनर द कंजर्वेटिव पीपल यूज्ड द सेम मेथड्स फॉर प्रमोटिंग देयर स्टेट पावर एंड अचीविंग द पॉलिटिकल डोमिनेशन ओवर द स्टेट. मींस सेम फिनोमेना दे अडॉप्टेड. उन्होंने भी उसी फिनोमेना को अडॉप्ट कर लिया. And you have already read that there was a widespread nationalist feelings among the middle class German during 1848. Means we have already discussed this thing that in 1848 in the German area, you can say in the Germany, the middle class people, उनके अंदर जो national feeling थी, it was spread all over area, and they also tried to build a German country. They also want to build a nation state of Germany. वो जर्मनी को एज नेशन स्टेट बनाना चाहते थे, एंड विच वाज टू बी गवर्न्ड बाय द इलेक्टेड पार्लियामेंट, जो कि इलेक्टेड पार्लियामेंट के द्वारा रूल की जाए. Means all over German there would you can say that a widespread nationalist sentiment among the middle class during 1848, and that's why they wanted to build a German country as a nation state which was to be governed by the elected parliament. They wanted this thing, right students? So but everything about their attempts, they attempted towards it. Means उन्होंने प्रयास भी किया कि वो अपने देश को एक नेशन स्टेट में कन्वर्ट कर ले, but their attempts they were suppressed. उन्हें दबा दिया गया by the combined force of monarchy and with the help of military. उन्होंने क्या किया? मिलिट्री की हेल्प ली. And even the monarchy, it was also supported by the large landowners of the Prussia, and they are known as Junkers. जो अगर मैं बात करता हूं लिबरल पीपल की, उन्होंने क्या किया? दे रिवोल्टेड अगेंस्ट मोनार्की. They revolted against monarchy during the 1848. We have discussed already these things, and their attempts, means the attempts of these revolutionaries, they were suppressed. उन्हें दबा दिया गया. किनके द्वारा दबाया गया? By the combined force of monarchy and military. And this military help, it was given by the large landowners of the Prussia. एंड आपके सामने यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन आता है कि लार्ज लैंड ओनर्स ऑफ पर्शिया, उन्हें क्या कहा जाता है? दे वर कंसिडर्ड द जंकर्स. तो आपके सामने यहाँ पर 1 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन बनता है कि हु वर कंसिडर्ड जंकर्स इन परुशिया. आपके सामने यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन दिया आएगा. तो आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन इट विल बी द लार्ज लैंड ओनर्स ऑफ परुशिया, दे वर कंसिडर्ड एंड यू कैन से दे वर नोन एज ए जंकर्स. दीज पीपल्स वर नोन एज ए जंकर्स, राइट? ओके. सो हमने यहाँ पर अभी तक जो डिस्कस किया वो ये डिस्कस किया, मींस ड्यूरिंग द फ्रॉम 1815 द कंजर्वेटिव फॉर्म इट वाज री-एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन यूरोप. वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दिस थिंग. During the 1830s to 1845, it was the time period of the economical hardship. And we have also discussed that there were liberal people also there, middle class people were also there. They started to revolt against monarchy. They wanted the government must be parliamentary form of government. They all wanted to this thing. So इस वजह से हमेशा क्या हुआ था, एक साइकिल क्रिएट हो गया कि they revolted, means liberal people and middle class, they revolted against monarchy with the help of you can say military. They suppressed them, वो उन्हें दबा देती. Then whenever they got chance again, liberal people got chance again, they again revolted. So this cycle was continued. ये साइकिल लगातार चलता जा रहा था. ठीक है, हम इन सब चीजों को पढ़ चुके हैं. बट आज का हमारा लेक्चर होगा वो किसके बारे में है? Germany as a unification, means the unification of Germany. We have to discuss it. Now, dear students, during the 1848, means from the 1848, Persia, it was emerged as a powerful leader for the unification of Germany. It was considered, you can say, our powerful leader, this country. At that time, we have discussed that the total German Empire, it was divided into 300 nations, 300 princely states. Under Napoleon, they were converted into 39 areas. And dear student, Persia is more powerful. Austria is also powerful, but Austria is more powerful than Persia. Right? France is another country. And there was a country of Denmark also. And everything about Denmark, it has some people of German speaking also. So Persia, it अगर हम पर्शिया की बात करते हैं तो वो क्या करता है, ऑस्ट्रिया को प्रोत्साहित करता है, इनकरेज करता है टू अटैक डेनमार्क, ताकि वो डेनमार्क के ऊपर अटैक कर सके. बट एट दैट टाइम more powerful is Austria than Persia. It was most important point here. So we will discuss this thing later on. इस बात को हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. Now we have to concentrate only Persia, and you can say only concentrate on Germany. So at that time, Persia, it was emerged as a powerful leader that unified Germany, and the whole responsibility, it was given to Otto Bismarck. And that's why Otto Bismarck, that person is considered the architect of the process of the unified Germany, and he unified Germany with the help of military. So that's why Otto Bismarck, he was considered the architect of Germany. He was considered the architect of Germany. This is the most important question. Who was considered the architect of Germany? So that person is Otto Bismarck, and he was the Prime Minister of Germany. Sorry, Prussia. Okay. So to see this thing, we have one question. And this is the most important question. And whenever you get this question, you have to write the answer of the German unification. Question यहाँ पर ये है, can the army be the architect of a nation? Can the army be the architect of a nation? Can an army make, you can say, the builder of a nation? क्या एक आर्मी किसी नेशन का बिल्डर या आर्किटेक्ट बन सकती है? And we have to take the reference of the Germany question, means unification of Germany, to give the answer of it. So to understand this question, first of all, we will discuss Otto Bismarck, and this person, it is the most important person because this person was considered the architect of the German unification. Right, students? तो देख लेते हैं कि Otto Bismarck है कौन. Now, Otto Bismarck, he was the chief minister of Prussia at that time. When Napoleon was defeated, and again conservatism was also followed, at that time Austria was more powerful than Prussia, and at that time Prussia, it was Otto Bismarck, he was made as a chief minister of Prussia. And what was his ultimate goal? His ultimate goal, it was to unite the German state into a strong German empire under the leadership of Prussia. Right, students? This was the ultimate goal of the Otto Bismarck at that time. Means वहां पर क्या है, पर्शिया जो है, पर्शिया जो कंट्री है वो थोड़ा पावरफुल है, बट ऑस्ट्रिया इससे ज्यादा पावरफुल था, इसलिए वो ऑस्ट्रिया पे डायरेक्टली अटैक नहीं कर पा सकता था. बट एट दैट टाइम यू कैन से जो कमान थी वो ओटो बिस्मार्क के हैंड ओवर कर दी गई. एट दैट टाइम ही वाज considered the chief minister of the Persia also, and the ultimate aim of his, it was to unite the German state into a strong German empire, and under the leadership of Persia, it was the most important thing. And if we think about Ottoman Bismarck, he never favored liberalism, he never favored you can say democracy. उसने कभी भी लिबरलिज्म और कभी भी डेमोक्रेसी को फेवर नहीं किया. On the other hand, he used military force to unify Germany. इसके अलावा उसने क्या किया, उसने जर्मनी को एज ए नेशन स्टेट कन्वर्ट करने के लिए उसने ना तो लिबरलिज्म का तरीका यूज किया, ना ही डेमोक्रेसी का तरीका यूज किया, बल्कि उसने क्या यूज किया, उसने मिलिट्री फोर्स का यूज किया. ही यूज्ड मिलिट्री फोर्स टू यूनिफाई जर्मनी. उसने मिलिट्री फोर्स का क्या किया, यूज किया. ओके, एंड ही आल्सो टुक द हेल्प ऑफ द पर्शियन आर्मी एंड ब्यूरोक्रेसी. उसने इन दोनों चीजों का की हेल्प ली. एंड देयर वर 3 वॉर्स ओवर द टाइम पीरियड ऑफ 7 years. टोटल 7 सालों में 3 युद्ध हुए. एंड these war with Austria, Denmark and France. And at last, in these 3 wars, the victory of the Persia was there, and the entire country, it was under the leadership of Persia, it was unified as a Germany country. Right, students? And in 1871, William I, he was considered and he was proclaimed as the German emperor in the ceremony hall of the Versailles. In the ceremony held, that is held at Versailles, he was considered the king of the Persian Empire, and this kingdom, it was the German kingdom. And because this thing, it was done by the Persia, so it is under the Persian Empire. Right, friends? थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में और डिटेल में डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. I have told you that when conservative form it was established, and at that time when Ottoman Bismarck, he was made as chief minister of Prussia. At that time Austria was more powerful than Prussia. वो डायरेक्टली उसके ऊपर अटैक नहीं कर सकता था, इसलिए उसने क्या किया, पर्शिया को इंकरेज किया टू अटैक डेनमार्क, कि वो डेनमार्क पर अटैक करे, एंड ही वुड हेल्प देम हिम, मींस पर्शिया वुड हेल्प ऑस्ट्रिया. It was decided. So Austria attacked Denmark, and 50% of part it was given to Persia, and 50% part of it was given to Austria. Right, students? Now Persia, it was becoming weak again, weak, because they were not, you can say that कि वो अपने एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे रहे थे. That's why it was becoming weak and weak. Right? Now at the same time Austria increases France. वो फ्रांस को इंक्रीज कर रहा था, फ्रांस को बढ़ावा दे रहा था कि अटैक टू ऑस्ट्रिया, कि वो ऑस्ट्रिया के ऊपर अटैक करे. एंड इधर से वो ऑस्ट्रिया को भी बढ़ावा दे रहा था कि अटैक टू फ्रांस. नाउ दिस सिचुएशन इज क्रिएटेड, मींस पर्शिया ने ये सिचुएशन की, एंड ये किया किसने था, इट वाज डन बाय द ओटोमन बिस्मार्क. ये ओटोमन बिस्मार्क के द्वारा कराया गया खेल था. एंड ड्यूरिंग दिस प्ले, एंड यू कैन से इस गेम के अंदर फ्रांस जो था वो इतना गुस्सा हो जाता है कि ही अटैक ऑन पर्शिया, एंड ड्यूरिंग दिस वॉर पर्शिया सॉरी ही अटैक ऑन ऑस्ट्रिया. फ्रांस अटैक ऑन ऑस्ट्रिया. फ्रांस जो है वो ऑस्ट्रिया पे अटैक कर देता है, एंड ऑस्ट्रिया वाज डिफीटेड एट दैट टाइम. ऑस्ट्रिया जो है वो हार जाता है. सो इन दिस वे पर्शिया टुक द कमांड. पर्शिया जो होता है वो सिचुएशन को लेता है, एंड उस सिचुएशन के अंदर वो फ्रांस के ऊपर अटैक करता है, एंड ड्यूरिंग दिस वॉर फ्रांस वाज डिफीटेड. इस वॉर के अंदर फ्रांस भी हार जाता है. ओके, तो इन दिस वे पर्शिया फॉर 3 wars, and these were with Austria, Denmark and France. In this way, the result of these war, it was the victory of Persia, and so in this way the unification of the country, means German, it was done. And 1871 William I, the Prussian king, he was proclaimed, he was declared as the German emperor, and this ceremony it was held at Versailles. Right, students? तो इस तरीके से जर्मन का यूनिफिकेशन होता है. आगे देखते हैं जर्मन यूनिफिकेशन के बाद क्या होता है. Means in the end of the nation building process of Germany, it displayed the domination of the Persian state all over the area. पूरे जर्मन एम्पायर के अंदर जो डोमिनेशन होगा वो किसका होगा, ये डोमिनेंस जो होगा या डोमिनेशन जो होगा वो किसका होगा, वो होगा आपका पर्शिया का. सो पर्शियन स्टेट पावर जो थी वो एस्टेब्लिश कर दी गई, और एक न्यू फीचर्स जो थी या कह सकते हो न्यू जो फिनोमेना था, इट वाज एडेड. एंड व्हाट वाज द फीचर ऑफ इट, द न्यू स्टेट इट लेड एम्फेसिस ऑन द फॉलोइंग थिंग. द फर्स्ट वन इज दैट द मॉडर्नाइजेशन ऑफ द करेंसी. Currency must be modernized. banking process, it must be modernized and it must be unified. And legal and judicial system of the Germany, it must be unique. These three areas, they concentrate on all these things. These must be a unified thing. ये सारी की सारी यूनिफाइड थिंग होनी चाहिए ताकि होल ओवर कंट्री मींस पूरे जर्मन एम्पायर के अंदर इसी चीजों को अडॉप्ट किया जा सके. And the Persian steps and you can say practices, they later became the model of the rest of the German Empire. मींस पर्शिया के अंदर जो भी चीज होती थी बाद में पूरे के पूरे जर्मन एम्पायर के अंदर उसे अडॉप्ट किया गया. So in this way, the unification of Germany, it was took place, and you can say it took place because of the military expedition, and which was, you can say, led by the powerful Persian region. So this was, you can say that the Germany unification. And हमें उस क्वेश्चन का आंसर भी मिल गया. Can an army be the architect of a nation? Can an army be the role model, and you can say can form a nation? तो हमारे उस क्वेश्चन का आंसर यही रहेगा कि हम उसे जर्मनी एज ए यूनिफिकेशन के रूप में डिस्कस करेंगे तो आपको उसका आंसर मिल जाएगा. So in this way, German is unified. Now we have the chance to discuss about Italy as a unified country. So let's discuss this thing, this Italy as a unified country. And this is also near about the same method, but it is also different from others. If we talk about Italy, it was also divided into different parts. वो भी different parts में divided था. And even if we think about the Italians, they were scattered over the several dynasties. They were also scattered into different dynasties, and you can say multinational Habsburg Empire also. Means total Italian area जो था वो different areas के अंदर divided था, right? And Italy was divided at that time. Italy was divided into 7 states, and it was during the middle of 19th century. उस वक्त मींस 19th सेंचुरी के मिडल में जो इटली था वो 7 स्टेट्स में डिवाइड था. द नॉर्थर्न पार्ट ऑफ इटली, इट वाज ऑस्ट्रियन हैब्सबर्ग एम्पायर, मींस इट वाज अंडर द ऑस्ट्रियन हैब्सबर्ग एम्पायर, एंड द सेंट्रल पार्ट इट वाज अंडर द पोप. अगर मैं पोप की बात करता हूं, राइट नाउ आज के टाइम में द वेटिकन सिटी, इट वाज द स्मॉलेस्ट स्टेट एरिया वाइज, and it has less number of population in the whole over world. पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर सबसे छोटा जो एरिया है, छोटा जो कंट्री है वो वेटिकन सिटी है. और अगर मैं बात करता हूँ पॉपुलेशन वाइज भी तो वो ही छोटा माना जाता है. एंड दैट वेटिकन सिटी, इट वाज द डिसेंडेंट ऑफ द पोप्स. ये पोप के राज्यों को पोप को मानने वाले जो पीपल है वो उस वेटिकन सिटी में रहते हैं. David. And if we think about the southern part, it was under the Bourbon kings of the Spain. And only one place, it was the Sardinia Piedmont, it was under the Italian princely house. So you can see that if we think about Italy, it was not under only one, it was not under the Italian prince. The total 7 states, out of 7, only one area, that is Sardinia Piedmont, it was under the Italian princely house. And not only this, केवल इतना ही नहीं था, Italian language, it was not common in the form. People spoke different language at different areas. Some spoke their local language, some spoke of other languages also. So this was the position also at that time. And we have to make Italy as a unified country. हमें इटली को एक unified country बनाना पड़ेगा. Now we have to discuss the Italy unification. So students, we have read the story of the Giuseppe Mazzini. हम उसकी स्टोरी पढ़ चुके हैं, and he was the great revolutionary in Italy, and he had also played an important role to unify Italy during the 1830s. He played an important role. He had formed a secret society that is called Young Italy, and the main aim of it was to unify Italy. जो यंग इटली उसने सीक्रेट सोसाइटी बनाई थी, उसका मेन एम था इटली को एज ए यूनिफाइड कंट्री के रूप में बनाना. बट द फेलियर ऑफ द रेवोल्यूशनरी अपराइजिंग बोथ इन 1831 एंड इन 1848. नाउ द रिस्पांसिबिलिटी ऑफ द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली, इट केम अंडर द ऑन द शोल्डर ऑफ द किंग्स विक्टर एम्बल II, and he was at that time the ruler of the Sardinia Piedmont. मीन्स यहाँ पर अलग अलग 3 व्यक्ति रोल प्ले करेंगे। जैसे कि ओटोमन बिस्मार्क जर्मन में एक सिंगल पर्सन रोल प्ले करता है, यहाँ पर आपके सामने 3 पर्सन आएंगे, दोज हु प्लेड एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल फॉर द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ जर्मनी, and the main center point it was the Anvil II, Victor Anvil II, the ruler of the Sardania Piedmont. Reason is that because this is the only single place where the Italian princes have you can say rule. ये अकेला place था, and this was also to be done with the help of war. Means जो इटली यूनिफिकेशन था वो भी आपका युद्ध की वजह से ही हुआ। So the elites of this region they favored the unification of Italy as this would offer them economical prosperity and the political domination. So that's why they wanted that Italy must be unified country. जैसे जर्मनी के अंदर a chief minister played an important role, in the same way in Italy unification a chief minister also played an important role. This was the most important thing. This was the most important thing at that time. The same way Ottoman Bismarck he played an important role at that time. उस वक्त ओटोमन बिस्मार्क जो था उसने क्या किया? He played an important role in the unification of Germany. Same method, in the same manner, अगर हम बात करते हैं, in Italy, a chief minister also played an important role. Now, who would be the chief minister? The chief minister होगा कौन? And how the Italy it became a unified country? We will discuss all these things in the later chapter. Means जो later part है आपका उसके अंदर हम इसको discuss करेंगे. Right, friends? I think the concept is clear to all of you till now. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.